In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this 5150 that I found at e-waste, well, in the middle of repairing that gigantic stack of early IBM PCs. They just keep coming. It's not raining men, it's raining IBM PCs. So I guess we got to take a little break. We'll go ahead and take a look at this. It's coming up right now on Retro Hack Shack. Hey everybody, my name's Aaron. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks to all my sponsors, by the way, over on Patreon and in the YouTube membership. So I think I have one YouTube member now. So yeah, multiple ways to support the channel, and I really thank all of you for doing that. So yeah, the story on this 5150 is that I needed a part for the 5160, reached out to an e-waste friend that I have, somebody that works at an e-waste place, and I was going over there anyway to pick up another computer that he was offering me, and asked him if he had any 5150s or 5160s because I need a specific part. And when I got there, they had gotten this. I don't know if they found this like in the back of the place or if somebody dropped this off day of, because initially when I asked him, he sent me a picture of a different board and it had nothing to do with the 5150 or 5160, but when I got there, he had this one sitting out ready for me to take a look at. So we're going to do a quick dive on this today, see what kind of cards are inside and see if it works. Do a quick repair. I always think this is going to be like something quick and easy. It's just going to power up and work. Maybe this will be the one today. Who knows? But I figured I can't just leave this. I was looking for a motherboard. I got a whole computer. We've got to take a look at this thing. I mean, I can't just ignore it. So yeah, the first thing you'll notice is that the hard drive has been pulled. You know, they have it as a policy to destroy hard drives in computers when they come in. Sometimes, you know, they even offer a hard drive destroying service, I think for $10 or something. They just get out a drill and put a drill hole in here. Now, this time they tried to put a drill hole in. I guess they couldn't get through the top cover, so they took the top cover off, and then they tried to drill through the platter, and it just bent the platter. So yeah, or maybe they did make it through the top hole. I don't know. But my friend over there knew that I would probably be interested in this, so he saved the hard drive for me so that I could at least take off the faceplate and put that back on and put like an XT to IDE adapter in here for like a CF card or something like that, and hook up the LED to it so that it can at least appear from the front here that it's a fully working unit with a hard drive in it. So yeah, full height hard drive, completely wasted. And as I've said before, there's probably only a 25% chance that this thing would have worked, but I do wish they wouldn't have destroyed it. 45-year-old data on here. I mean, come on. Let's keep these things around, do some archiving, maybe find some software, things that, you know, are important to save. Who knows? But don't destroy these things. Anyway, so that's the situation with the hard drive. And there's also two half-height floppy drives here. I don't believe those would have been original. Originally, it would have had, I think, two full-height floppy drives, probably with an option to swap one of those out with the hard drive. But this one has two half-height floppies in here. We'll have to see what capacities those are when we break this thing open. And they did not put the case on correctly, but hopefully we can get it off. Oh, this is actually looking good. This looks like it has some really interesting cards in here. If I can get the case off. Come on. When you put this on wrong, makes it really hard to take off. There we go. And actually the case and everything is in really good shape. I don't know if somebody worked on this and couldn't fix it, but there is dust in here, but it's not nearly as dirty as those ones that the other stack that I had where all the top cases, the lids were gone. Those things were really dirty on the inside, but this one, even the power supply, I don't see any rust. I don't see any corrosion. There's just a tiny bit of dust that I see up here. So yeah, not bad at all. This thing might be our first one that's just working. I see let me see if I can get the cloth tag out so that I can read it. And let's see what it says. Even the lettering on here is in really good shape. And it says 1984. So yeah, this was a later version, even though the board is green, and I'm pretty sure that's going to mean that this is a 16 to 64K board with, I can already tell, an additional memory card here to expand that. Let's get these cards out of here and see what they are. Okay, I can tell right away this is going to be, I think, the hard drive card because it looks like an MFM card. And there we go. Yep. This is definitely an MFM card, and I'm just going to go ahead and take this whole thing out because we won't be putting that hard drive back in. Here we'll be using something else, as I mentioned. But this is the IBM. Even my bad eyes can see there's an IBM part number down here. It's actually marked IBM for once, and it's 150492 is what's marked on this card. Next up, we have a standard IBM floppy drive controller. No big deal here. Pretty standard fare. Floppy drives, internal floppy drives connect here with the addition of 2 more floppy drives, believe it or not, connected to this 37-pin header here externally. And here we have a memory card. So this memory card was made by Apparat Incorporated, and it says right down here 512 RAM card. So we know how big this could get, and indeed we see, what, 8 banks of memory here? So this, each bank would hold 64K of memory, is that right? And yeah, this looks pretty good. The first 6 banks are populated, so that means we have 380K, is that right? So yeah, and it's all configured. I'm assuming that that probably hasn't changed. So what I'll want to do in order to reduce the amount of time I have to spend configuring the dip switches and stuff, I'll probably just put the memory card back in when we test this and go for broke here, because the switches on the motherboard and these switches are, I assume, already configured for the right amount of RAM. All right, next up we have what I assume is a serial card. It's got a IBM part number, and this is an async card. So async, I assume that's a serial card. It has a 25-pin connector on the end. Now this last one is super interesting looking to me. So this card has a special connector, female 25-pin connector on it. On the back of it here, it's got 2 9-pin connectors, and where did I see that? Up here, yeah. Multi-display card. Multi-display, and it is actually 2 cards sandwiched together, but it goes into one slot. You can see it's got some standoffs here on the edge. It's 2 full-size cards that go into this thing, and I need to look this one up. It has, I'm assuming that is exactly what it says. This is for hooking up 2 displays to the same 5150. Amazing for back in the day. That is so cool. You're probably not going to be able to see this, but just down here on this card, it says Paradise Systems Incorporated A1 assembly. I can't read it. 510001. 51001, not sure, eyes aren't working. And then it says rev, and there's not a number or a letter or anything for the rev. So this is a Paradise video card. That helps us track down this a lot now that we know what the brand is. All right, well, the power's still plugged in. I'm just going to do a quick check for shorts. That was my probes. Nothing shorted yet, but let's get over here. There we go. That's what I expect to see. Whoa, that's really good response. Uh-oh. That's not good. That is, I think, the -5 volt rail or -12. Can't remember which one. That's power good. That's 12 volt. Nothing doing. Yeah, it just goes up. And then last but not least, whichever one that one is, I forget if it's -5 or -12. One of the negative rails, the blue wire on a 5150 has a short on it. So that's a bummer. Let me see if that's on the power supply side or the computer side. My guess is it's on the computer side, and it's probably a tantalum. Yep, no shorts on the power supply side. No shorts on the computer side? How's that possible? And by the way, these disk drives are TIAC FD55Bs, and I've actually got the manual here, and it says that it is a double-sided capable drive, and it's got a disk capacity of 500 KB? What? How's that possible? So I'm guessing these are 360K drives. At least that's the way they're configured, but it's really weird. It's got like a 250K, 500K for the B and the E. And then if you go over here, they've got an F, which was a megabyte capacity, and then a G, which was 1.6 megabytes, and a GF, which is 1.6 megabytes. I'm gonna have to look through the manual and do a little bit of research here. I guess maybe just the way they're describing this is a little bit weird, something I'm not used to, but that's kind of interesting. And these look like really good drives if they're working. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. All right, so I was looking for shorts on the board, and I could have sworn I had a short on the blue wire, but I'm not seeing it now. Could be my eyes. So that's the ground wire. So I'm connected to both grounds. That's obviously going to be a short. Now I'm connected to that blue wire and I'm not seeing a short. So maybe I had it, maybe it was my eyes playing tricks on me, which happens unfortunately all the time. I could have sworn there was a short there, but it doesn't look like it now. All right, so you know what? I'm just going to go for broke here. I put the memory card back in. Got the really cool video card plugged back in, and I'm plugged into one of the video ports. I don't know if this is MDA, CGA, EGA. Yeah, I don't even know. It's got to have, I don't know how that would work in a system like this. So let's just turn it on and see what happens. I'm feeling good about this system for some reason. Here we go. Oh, look at this. It's totally booting. Oh my word. No way. Now remember, it's taking a long time because it's got to go through and count up all of this extra RAM here. And it's not a fast computer to begin with. So let's just see if it comes back with anything on the screen. It should come back with some beeps and probably not work because, well, there's no floppy drive connected and there's no hard drive connected. And I don't even have a keyboard connected. So it's definitely going to give us some errors. Will we get anything, right? Oh, there it goes. 301. That's the keyboard error. 601. Floppy drive error. And I forget if it halts at this point because there's no floppy. No, it goes into computer. Look at that. It goes into cassette basic. This one says computer basic. Didn't the first one say cassette basic, or am I just imagining that? But anyway, this computer is totally working. Wow. That is amazing. I can't believe it. This is kind of what I expected some of those other computers to do, is just kind of work, because typically you get one or two that does, and leave it to me to find the one that I need to steal apart from. And not only does it work, but it has this cool card. This is amazing. This is amazing. I want to move the video cable. I got to be careful because I didn't screw this back in. What happens if we plug this in? Oh, okay. So the top port worked. The bottom port's doing this. Does that mean that the bottom port is like MDA or something? Interesting. I'm on MDA and I'm not getting anything here either, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. Yeah, so if I leave this on MDA and move it back, it doesn't do anything. So I think this is probably at least a CGA card on the top here. Yeah, I've got this set to CGA now. So it looks like the top one is CGA, and I'm not sure what the bottom one is. That is frickin' awesome. I cannot believe this is working. All right, well, I wasn't able to find out too much information about this other than some announcements and magazines and things, which were really cool to read. Seems like there was a lot of excitement around these multi-monitor cards, even if you can't actually run two monitors at the same time. That would have been really cool back in this day and age. But it does allow you to hook up a variety of monitors, and so you don't have to just pick one and stick with it. You could maybe start with your old MDA monitor and then upgrade that to CGA when you got a CGA monitor. The card itself has TSR, terminate and stay ready program that would run in memory. It would load itself in memory, and then you could use that apparently to switch back and forth between the different video modes. But unfortunately, I don't have that. It seems to be unobtainium at this point. I've searched and searched for it. If you by any chance have the drivers that came with this original, the very first Paradise card that was ever released, this multi-display adapter, let me know. I'd love to get a copy of it or upload it to archive.org so other people can have it. because I'm sure it only came probably with just that TSR program and, I don't know, maybe a README file or something. I don't think there was a lot of information that came with this card, probably, just given the nature of these old cards. But all that being said, on the end here, there is a little switch. Hopefully, if the camera stays focused, you can see that. It's kind of hard to see because it's black on black. At least it is for me. But yeah, there's this little slide switch and it has 3 positions, and we know that the CGA works. So I thought what we'd do is take a look and see what it looks like if I can get the MDA working and the composite working. With the help of the RGB to HDMI, should be able to get all 3 of those modes visible on this HDMI monitor. All right, so I'm going to connect up to the bottom 9-pin adapter, and I'm going to flip this switch just 1 notch. Let's go ahead and start it up and see if it comes on. One other piece of information I got, if you're wondering why I'm not switching those buttons on the fly, is because based on what that switch is setting, the card has to initialize at power on to that particular setting. So you can't just flip it on the fly and flip back and forth between the 2 or 3 video modes here. You've got to turn the computer off, flip the mode, turn it back on, and when it does, it'll read the status of that switch and then initialize the card in that particular mode. So this should be either MDA or CGA or composite mode. Hopefully it's MDA. And now it's blank. That's actually a good sign. Let me set this. Okay, I'm in CGA mode right now, so we'll go ahead and put this on MDA mode. And I'm not seeing anything, but I'm not worrying about that too much yet. Should have a flashing cursor here. Oh, there we go. I see a code, 2 codes. I think that's the 301 and the 601 codes. And yeah, there we go. IBM Personal Computer Basics. So the reason we didn't see the flashing cursor when we booted up was because it was over here off the screen, and that's just an artifact of the settings that I have right now in the RGB to HDMI. I could go in and move that over a little bit. In fact, let's just go ahead and do that. There we go. So now we've got the whole thing on the screen. We've got our cursor here and it's looking fine. I think I'm still missing some on the bottom here as well. Okay, well, that's not what I wanted. I'd have to mess around with those settings a bit more, but I can see everything on the screen now. But by changing the max and min V height, it actually, at some point, it squashed things down. So I don't know. You can play around with that and kind of go nuts on those settings, but at least I can see everything on the screen through the MDA profile now. Okay, well, I've set up a composite link to a different RGB to HDMI, and I have it set up for Apple II mode. Should be a kind of color composite with NTSC artifacting on. There are other modes you can set up, but hopefully this one will at least let us see if this is working or not. It may not be completely accurate on the screen first shot out of the gate. I might have to tinker with it, but hopefully we should see something. Okay, here we go. There we go. It is absolutely working. So this is going to take a while. Let's see what it looks like when we get to basic. And yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of flickering here. There's a chance I could get rid of that, but I can also see the fringing that you would normally see because the RGB to HDMI is so good. Like it can emulate this so well. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, you can see the text fringing that you would expect to see on composite output. So composite on this video card is working as well. All 3 video output modes are actually working in one card. That is so cool. There we go. All that waviness and flickering is cleared up now. The image is perfectly clear. It just looks awesome. And yeah, very, very cool. All right, well, the next thing I want to check is to see if these floppy drives are working. And I'm going to go ahead and hook up the floppy drive controller card and plug the cable in. And I'm also going to plug in the XT to IDE because I've got some utilities on here and some games, and we can check out and make sure that everything truly is working in the best way possible, which is to play a little Alley Cat or Arkanoid. All right, let's see if this just works. Oh, I need to plug in the keyboard too. That I think I can do before we get done counting the memory. If I scramble. And I should still get the keyboard error, but hopefully not the floppy controller error. Let's see. 301 is the keyboard error, I believe. Yep. Still getting the keyboard error. That's okay. Still getting a 601, but it is going into the XT to IDE. Booting. Yay. Ha. There we go. Woohoo! All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a cleaning disc. And this is a homemade cleaning disc that I made. And this is a prototype. It's still got a ways to go. It's a little bit too thick or it bows a little bit too much, but it does work. But I'm working on a final version of this that I'm thinking about selling on my website. If you're interested in having something like this with like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the cleaning discs and this open thing in the back so you can easily change them. If that's something of interest to you, let me know in the comments below, and +1 anybody else that's mentioned it, because I'm really trying to gauge interest in a product like this. I think there's one other person maybe in Italy or something that sells something like this, but this would be all homemade with new components and the exact cleaning medium, most importantly, that they used to use back in the day. So if that's something of interest to you, let me know. Those should be at least a little cleaner than they were. So let's see if they will read a disk. There's Planet X3. No. And I don't even see the head moving. It is spinning the disk, but it is not reading the disk. So let's try the other one. Oh, yeah. Of course, this isn't going to read if these are 360K drives, because this is I think this is the bigger disk. This is the 1.2 version of Planet X3. So that's not going to work. Let me go grab a 360K disk and see if that works. All right. This is MS-DOS 5. And I know this says right on it, it's 360K. So maybe this will work. No. Nothing is working in these drives. And I haven't even seen the heads move. All right, let's see if IMD can give us any information on these. I believe everything's plugged in. Okay, I've got another cleaning disk here. Let's just do a clean head, and we'll just see if the heads actually move. Yeah, yeah. Okay, heads are moving. Well, that's a good sign. All right, how about if we format a disk? So let's at least see if we can format it and then read something back from it on the same drive. Huh. Invalid media or track 0 bad. That's so weird. I guess I'm going to have to work on these drives or figure out why they're not working. Sometimes I've had this track 0 thing come up if you have like, if the heads are misaligned or, but I think even if this was formatted for 1.2, I think if we went through and tried to reformat it, I wouldn't get that bad track 0 error. So yeah, that might be a standalone video. I'm not going to go through and fix those up right now, but the drives look in really good shape. So if I can figure out what's causing that and maybe do some head alignment, should be able to get these working. All right, but for now, we can at least play some Alley Cat. We've got some sparkles and shimmers there. That's easy to take care of with the RGB to HDMI. Just go down here and do an auto calibrate video sampling. Technically, you're supposed to have a static image when this happens, but the only thing moving around right now is the cat. So let's see if this looks any better. Yeah, there we go. All fixed. It's a little loud. Can't really control the volume on the PC speaker, but it does appear to be working. Do I want to use a joystick? No. And my skill is definitely kitten. And we're ready to go. So go up there, go over there, go up there, go over there. Ooh, oh! Okay, let's try this again. Oh, get out of here, dude. This is a simple game, but it is so fun. I don't know why. Give me that. Yeah, baby. Now I just have to get in one of these windows. Ah! Oh, well. Anyway, this is working. Let's fire up Arkanoid. CGA graphics. Keyboard, here we go. Yeah, look at those nice CGA graphics. I should have run this in the composite mode. I bet it looks a lot better if it supports composite mode. I don't know. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, baby. Look at that. I got the special pill right at the beginning. Off to round 2. It's hard to do with just the arrow keys. Oh, come on. Oh, pff. Okay, forget that. But yeah, we have this completely working now. 5150 had nothing. Finally, I've been waiting for one of these computers where I just went in, looked at the stuff, and it booted right up. I'm always optimistic like that, but it usually doesn't work out with computers that are, in this case, 41 years old as I'm recording this. So this thing was well taken care of. It's nice and clean. Everything just works except for the floppy drives. We'll go in and take care of that, but everything else just works, and I couldn't be more tickled to have this cool and rare video card, this Paradise video card, the first one they ever made. It does get quite a bit warm, I notice, as I'm tapping it here. So yeah, this isn't something that you want to leave on all night, I don't think, at this point, after it's been sitting around for 40 years. But yeah, it gets nice and toasty, that's for sure. So at this point, I wanted to give this thing a good clean. Like I said, the inside's pretty clean, but I need to put the case back on, do it correctly this time, so that I can screw in at least one screw in the back just to hold it all together, and then we can get to cleaning. So the first thing I did was just clean everything off with a little bit of Windex and a paper towel. Really, this thing is so clean, that's all that's needed here. However, when I did that, I did notice just the slightest bit of surface rust starting to make its way through the paint. So in the future, I'll have to come back to this and do a little bit of rust treatment. For now, I just took a green Scotch-Brite pad and started scrubbing those leftover spots that were left there. And believe it or not, those came right out. Like I said, it's not a permanent fix, but it'll do just fine for now. Next, I wanted to see about adding that hard drive cover onto the front of the case here. So I found that on the underside of this drive, there were 4 little screws, and I could take each of those out, and that did leave a little bit of a metal piece behind, but that's okay. It'll support this cover nicely. Then I took some double stick tape and put it on either side and just pressed that into place. Again, not a permanent solution here, but it'll do for now, and later when I hook up an LED, I can easily take the cover on and off and make sure it's just right before I get it permanently attached to the case. All right, well, I think there's one last thing I want to do with this. I rummaged around in my collection and I realized that I had gotten this IBM 5151 monochrome monitor from the same e-waste place that I just picked up this 5150, and I got this a few years ago and have been hanging on to it to see whether it worked or not. So I thought we could go ahead and set it up on top and just get one last look of what this thing would have looked like back in 1984. So I've got this plugged into the MDA output of that video card. I'm going to turn off my fill lights here. Hopefully that will make it a bit easier to see. We'll see. I've still got the overhead lights on, but let's go ahead and turn it on and see what we get. I have not tested this monitor at all, so I don't know if it's even working. Are we getting a raster or anything? Ooh, these things are so sticky. Oh, yep. Oh, and it's green screen. Yes. Nice. There we go. It is booting up with a green cursor there, looking wonderful on the CRT. Hopefully you can see that okay. I'll have to take my word for it if it's not coming across that there is a green flashing cursor. This is the good luck day, I think. Yes, 301, 601, great. Boot it up, baby. This is my good luck day. Everything is just working. I'm so glad this is working as well, because literally I didn't want to make this video too much longer, but this is looking absolutely wonderful. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for here. If you want to see more IBM repair, and specifically this series, I'll keep adding links to the videos that came before and the videos that are coming after, because remember, this is a tower of power, a tower of e-waste of early IBM machines that I'm going through. This one just happened to be really a fix for another one, and got it in and it works great. So really, I can't argue with that. But yeah, if you want to see more, I'll put some videos over here on the side. Do hit that like button. Let YouTube know that other people like you with your watch patterns would like to see this video, and I would really, really appreciate it. Thanks again to all my patrons. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me for a little bit, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
End of line.